We can complain all we want, can't we? Tonight on Smackdown, one of the moments that a lot of fans were hoping WWE would actually pull the trigger on, or at least start pulling the trigger, kind of slowly pull that little clicker back a little bit before they pulled it. Tonight was an opportunity for, in a lot of fans' eyes, for them to do that, but they didn't. And what I'm talking about is they had Cesaro lose to Seth Rollins and thus not qualify for Money in the Bank. Now you might say to yourself, well, that ends the Seth Rollins Cesaro program, right? So where do you go from him? Oh, for Cesaro now. Where do you go for this guy now that a lot of fans want to see get pushed, to the moon, get pushed to the main event scene, at least get one run with the title? Well, just like in typical WWE fashion, it seems that they're going to probably send him at the Intercontinental title, or if he gets drafted over to Raw, there's a good chance he'll go for the U.S. title, or maybe they might let him have a run at the WWE title over there. We'll have to see. But this did not go well, over well, I should say, with a lot of fans. One of the fans that I subscribe to and watch and listen to for his opinions is Alex Hicks. And Alex is one of the more vocal people when it came to supporting Cesaro, hoping this was the moment. But unfortunately it wasn't. And he was very vocal about it. He did a video and he basically expressed how he felt about it. Basically saying that WWE is crazy. That they blew their chance. They've messed up. They screwed up. And that now fans are going to let them know about it. And at least I'll give Alex one thing. At least he's honest in realizing that when a certain individual got added to the match on the Raw side of things, the Monday Night Raw side of things, pretty much he knew that any chance that anybody else would have at winning the Money in the Bank briefcase was pretty much thrown out the window. That person that got, put into Money in the Bank, or at least qualified for it, was of course Drew McIntyre. Now, a lot of people that have been following Raw, if not both Raw, SmackDown, and even NXT from the WWE point of view, a lot of them would basically point out that, McIntyre can't get another shot. That the stipulation, in his match with Lashley at Hell in a Cell is if he didn't win, he could never get another shot as long as Lashley was champion. That, if sticking to storyline continuity, should affect any chance he has of cashing in the briefcase if he wins it. But knowing WWE, they'll probably throw in a loophole that states, yeah, he can't get a shot at Lashley as long as he's a champion in a regular match, but there's nothing that says he couldn't cash in on Lashley. So they might throw the loophole in there that, hey, you didn't say nothing about a cash in on Lashley. All you said was, Drew couldn't get a regular rematch. So, yeah, it looks like right now that they're going to be going the Drew McIntyre route with him winning the briefcase, cashing in on Lashley, and then, becoming champion, and then there's your Raw main event, if you will, for SummerSlam. But we'll see. We shall see. Perhaps WWE might, change things and say, you know what, they're expecting Drew, but let's go this route. And that would make sense. But yeah, unfortunately, WWE didn't pull the trigger, or at least start the process of pulling the trigger with Cesaro tonight on SmackDown. And again, it didn't leave a lot of people very happy. It didn't leave them very happy. It left them sour. And Alex, who lives in Houston, where next week's SmackDown is going to be, the first one in front of fans in over a year, Alex pretty much feels that they're going to let them hear it. They're going to let those fans are going to let them hear it. But here's the thing, and I've talked about this before. I've talked about this before on numerous occasions. The thing is with WWE, they're the kind of people, they're the kind of wrestling promotion, entity, sports entertainment, legit sports, whatever you want to call it, they're the kind of entity, or at least they're the kind of entity that's in a long list of entities that when folks like me, folks like Alex Hicks, folks like the Schleg Daddy, Jeff Siegel, folks like Good Mike Works, Solomonster, anybody else that comes on YouTube, goes on various podcast affiliations, to them, we could speak our minds all we want. We could speak our minds. We can complain. We can criticize. We can say, you blew your chance. You're going to regret it. And watch what happens. And da-da-da. We'll be right. And, or at least we'll be correct in some way. And thus now WWE will have to do it this way. We could do that all we want. Like Alex did about a few moments ago live, from his home. You could do that all you want. But you know what we are to WWE? You know what we are to the social media team that probably listens to what we say, say and do? You know what we are? This is what we are. This is what we are. We could be on here going like, WWE, you messed up. You blew it. You're going to regret it now, man. But you know what? You could correct this next week. Get a rematch. Make Cesaro put his briefcase, his Money in the Bank opportunity on the line. Do that, and this time make Cesaro go over. And I bet you, and you know what? You do that, you correct court, you're gonna have a great match on your hands. You're gonna have a great match at Money in the Bank. We could say that. We could come on here and say, hey, you just need to correct your mistakes, go this route, and you're golden, right? We could say that. But you know what we are to WWE and mainly the social media team when we say that, or we come on here and we criticize decisions they make? You know what we are? We're this. We're this basically. We're, hey, you could do this, you could do that, but to them we're this. We're just little whispers in the wind. It's like over here. It's like we could be over here and they'll be saying, hey, you screwed up and everything and all this, blah 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 blah. Criticize and then say, as well as basically say, but you know what? You can correct yourself. Do this, do that, and do this, and do that. This could be us on this side, and here's WWE and the social media side on this side. We could be like, hey, you screwed up and all that, right? And this is what we are to them. They don't hear us. They're like basically, we could be over here and complaining and criticizing and saying, oh, you screwed up and everything, right? You're going like, and over here, and then over here, they'll be like, did you hear something? Did you hear something, blankety blank? Did you hear something? I don't know. I didn't hear nothing. Did you? I thought it... Wait, it sounded like a faint whisper. I didn't hear nothing. That's basically what we are to them. One thing I'll give AEW credit for is at least they do listen to the fans. Yes, sometimes they'll make decisions that, fans will criticize. And deservedly so. But one thing I give AEW credit for is at least when they hear that criticization of decisions they make that not everybody agrees with, at least they try their best to correct it or do something that compensates the fans for the apparent screw up in their eyes. But to WWE, again, we could be over here complaining and criticizing, going like, oh, you screwed up, you messed up, but you know what, you could correct yourself by doing this and this and this. And then over here on this side, WWE's social media team can be like, did you hear something? I didn't hear nothing. Oh, nothing. I don't hear. It must have sounded like a pin dropped or something like a whisper or something. It might have been the wind. Who knows? I thought I heard something, but probably nothing. Probably nothing. That's what we are. We can come here on YouTube all we want. We can go on social media all we want. We can go on all the various podcast affiliates all we want. All we are to them is this. Nothing. We're nothing. They don't hear us. We're whispers in the wind, if you will. We're just a bunch of gibberish to them. I mean, even if they do watch someone like Alex Hicks, known as just Alex here on YouTube, even if they watch and hear what he says, you know what their social media site does for WWE? They do this. That Alex, that's just Alex. He's so funny. He has no idea what he's talking about. And the same with Jeff Siegel, the Schleg Daddy at OTR Central. He can come out and complain about the atrocity that Monday Night Raw is and kind of suggest what they could do. And they'd be like this. That Schleg Daddy. He's such a joker. He has no idea what he's talking about. Same thing with Solomonster. Same thing with Good Mike Work. Same thing with Don Tony, Kevin Castle, JD from NY206. Everybody that comes on YouTube and various podcast locations and talks about it. Brian Zane of Wrestling with Regret. Every person that comes onto YouTube or various podcast locations and talks about it, WWE social media team and those that work along with them that work in Stanford, they'll probably look at it and go, oh, that person's such a joke. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that person thinks they know it all. They have no clue what they're talking about. That's all we are to them. That is all we are to them. To them, we're whispers in the wind, and even if they do pay attention, we're nothing more than a laughing stock to them. That's all we are. We're nothing but a joke. Because to them, we don't know what we're talking about. Because we don't work in WWE. You know, we're just wrestling fans that don't understand. You know, we're casual, hardcore fans that don't understand. And we're nothing but a joke. And you think I'm wrong? You think I'm wrong about, or you think I'm over-exaggerating about them reacting that way? I'm not. I guarantee you I'm not. I guarantee you they could pull a Vince McMahon aside or Paul Levesque aside or Shane McMahon, point them out to what we're saying, and just like I described, they too could be laughing at us. They could be. They could be laughing at us, thinking, oh, we're just a joke. Oh, we're just people that don't know what we're talking about. Because they don't take it seriously. So why complain? So why complain, huh? I'll tell you why. Because sooner or later, they will have to listen. Sooner or later, we're going to have to do a Daniel Bryan. That's right. What's going to happen is either it's going to be a Cesaro or it's going to be someone down the line where a Daniel Bryan kind of movement is going to take place. And now with crowds coming back, now with crowds, fans coming back, you know what? This is the perfect time. So here's what needs to be done. Here's what needs to be done. Our voices won't be heard, but those in attendance, your voices will be heard. So what you need to do in Houston, what you need to do in Fort Worth, what you need to do in Dallas, Kansas City, Cleveland, wherever it's going to be, you know what you need to do? You need to chant as loud as you can for those you want in certain positions in the company. Because once you do, you start swelling up those arenas, those stadiums with those chants. You start basically doing a hostile takeover, if you will, or hijack takeover, if you will, like you've done before with Daniel Bryan. Then WWE will have no choice. If they want to save embarrassment, they will have no choice but to say, okay, fine, we'll give Cesaro his moment, or okay, we'll give Shotzi Blackheart or Tegan Knox the moment. We'll do it. Just to save image and also to shut them up. They'll have no choice. So to me, the best logical thing to do to make sure even the internet wrestling YouTubers get heard is for those fellow wrestling fans out there to do hijacks. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to do it. It's the only way. And you know what? It starts this Friday. A week from tonight. It starts this upcoming Friday, the 16th, in Houston, Texas. That needs to happen. And then it needs to continue on in Fort Worth, Dallas, Kansas City, wherever. It needs to continue. And the biggest moment of a hijack needs to happen at SummerSlam. You make it happen there, at Alliance Stadium, or at Allegiant Stadium. You do it there, and I guarantee you, WWE will have no choice but to finally listen and say, fine, we'll give you what you want. Just stop hijacking. Because as history has shown, if it can happen before, it can happen again. That's what needs to happen. Because right now, they don't hear us. They don't hear us because people like me, people like Alex Hicks, just Alex, the Solomonster, Jason Solomon, Jeff Siegel, the Select Daddy of OTR Central, Good Mike Work, Greg Morgan, Don Tony, Kevin Castle, Brian Zane, all of us are nothing but whispers in the wind. We're gibberish. We're laughing stocks. And now the time has come. Fans are returning. The time has come for fans to do what they did almost a decade ago. Basically do what they did 7 years ago and let the WWE know by hijacking their shows that you want what you want, not what they want. And if they don't want no more hijacking, just give us that moment. Even if it's a one-time moment, and that moment lasts just a month, just give it to them. Just give it to us. So that way you could show the world that you do listen. That's all they need. That's all that needs to be done. And I know people hearing this will say, well, hijacking is a dumb thing to do. It's an annoying thing to do. Here's a question. Do you know any other method to get a point across? Just saying. But to me, this is why WWE does what they do, because they haven't heard the crowd yet. They haven't heard the crowd's disapproval. And that needs to start in Houston. It needs to start. You tell them how you feel. You tell them who you want. And don't stop. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys, down below. Comment if you like. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you. Like the video. Let me know what your thoughts are on the live chat during the premiere. And Alex, if you're watching this, I would like to hear a response out of you, please. Keep up the great work, my friend. And I will talk to you all later.